Hello everybody, and welcome back to our Let's Play on Marxville, Wisconsin. Today we're going to be making some hay. So as I walk down to the shed here, I've just gotten off the phone with the dealership. I've got the John Deere 6410 warming up. You'll notice that the case 8910 is not here right now, and that is because we dropped it off at the shop yesterday after Cousin Ben got done cultivating field 17, or sorry, field 16, because we actually had purchased some new equipment for the package. It was $20,000 for two new pieces of equipment, and that was a new John Deere 956 Moco, new to us, used John Deere 956 Moco, as well as a wheel rake. So I was told that that would have all been gone over. Again, we talked to the dealership about a week ago, right, about this stuff, telling them that we were going to be looking for this kind of equipment. So they did manage to source it. They went through it all. Everything's ready to go. It's field ready. So we just got to go down there and pick it up. They said they got the 8910 hooked onto the mower. We're going to put the rake behind the John Deere 6410, and we're going to make our way back home to the farm, and we're going to get cutting some hay today. Unfortunately, the fields still aren't ready for us to get in there and plant any beans or corn. The soil temperature has not warmed up to 10 degrees yet, which is what we need to get a proper germination with those crops. So we're not going to be able to do that. So today we're going to make our first cutting of hay. I've also made another little deal yesterday when I was on the phone with the dealer, and they told me that they had sourced these two pieces of equipment that we could take a look at. When I was down there dropping the 8910 off, I talked to them about the 1590 seed drill that they had lent us. They're going to let us keep that because they know what we're going to be doing here with the field after we get it mowed, which is going to be getting it disked, or getting it plowed and disked. So okay, we're just pulling up in the shop here. They got our case 8910 fitted up for that John Deere 956 Moco that we're going to be using, and they did a little once over on it, made sure everything was good. We are going to need to leave the duals on that tractor just because after we get done doing the hay, we're going to be replanting that field. So we're going to need the 8910 to do all the tillage work. So it's a good idea for us to go ahead and have that set up for tillage with the duals on there, and then after that we might remove the duals if we see fit, or if it mows all right with them on, we might leave them on. Okay, we're ready to go now. Let's head back to the farm and cut some hay. Okay, so here we are now, just pulling back to the farm. Got Ben behind us. Just gonna pull in here and get to mowing some hay. Alright, now we're on our way back to the field to get it opened up. Here is field 17. If I said that right? 17? Or is that 16? I can never remember. Field 16 has been completely cultivated, as you can see. Cousin Ben got that finished there after the last episode. We are going to unfold this mower here. Let me see. I haven't used this before, so I'm not sure. Alright. Let's go ahead and drag this thing around the outside of the field. Here we are, getting our first cutting of grass for the year. Let's see if we can cut into these weeds at all. Doesn't look like it wants to cut those, so we're not going to worry about that. Just going to try and get all the grass. Going to rake this up, and I'm not exactly sure whether we're going to blow this into the silo or what we're going to do, because we are missing some equipment. So we're going to talk to some of the farmers in the area, see if maybe we can borrow one of their blowers, or if the shop happens to come up with one here shortly. We're going to see if anybody has one for sale in the community maybe, and see if we can get our hands on a good used silage blower, because it's going to be something that we're going to need. And then somebody may need to come in and get all of this chopped and put into wagons for us as well. So we're going to see what that's going to cost, whether that's going to be feasible for us, or if we're going to be better just baling it ourselves and renting a bale wrapper. At this point I'm not too sure what we're going to do, but we will figure that out. Okay, that's our grass field all mowed. Now we're going to go back and get the John Deere. However, I did get a call from the neighbor, and she is looking for soybeans to get planted on field 36, which is just across the way from our farm here. It's about a 2.5 acre field. She asked if we could get something like that done. I told her that would be no problem, because we actually have to wait for this grass to dry up a bit, and we're not exactly sure what's going on, whether we're going to rent a bale wrapper or not yet. I'm thinking that a bale wrapper is going to be something that we're going to use. We're going to have to see exactly what we end up doing with these bales here. So we're going to jump in the John Deere and get that hooked up to the planter, and we're going to take it across the field 36. We're going to go ahead and plant some soybeans for her. Even though the soil temp isn't adequate for what we want to do with our beans, we are going to go ahead and plant the neighbor's beans. Okay, so we are just refilling the planter here. looks like there wasn't quite enough on that pallet, so just back up a little further here. And it's full. So we got the the corn planter, soybean planter, all filled up with some soybeans. And we are going to head across to field 36 and get some soybeans in the ground for the neighbor here. Looking to getting a good test on our John Deere 6410, see how it handles this drill. Should be just fine. It does have enough horsepower, I believe, for this drill with 105 horse. I don't think you would want to add any more planter than this to this tractor here. I think this is pretty much just the right size for it. So here's a little field here. Oh yeah, it's a pretty good hill onto this, so definitely going to be giving our tractor a workout here today. Well, let's see what we can do. Definitely feel it pulling down on the hill a little bit here. That's to be expected. That is a pretty steep hill. Just get out, check what kind of a job we're doing. Making sure our seeds are all being planted here. 2 inches is what we're looking for, 2.5 inches. Everything looks good. Looks like all the row units are on. The ridge marker is doing its job. And the tractor is already dirty. Heck yeah. Looks good. Definitely a nice combination here, these two. Got the matchy John Deere going on. Here we are coming back down our ridge marker line. So the reason that that's there is to show you where you need to put the middle of your tractor when you're coming back down the next pass. So if we put the hood ornament on the center of the hood there, right over top of this ridge that we've left, we should pretty much track directly perfect with our previous row. And then we fold the next one out, do the same thing. Coming back, we will follow that ridge marker. We'll follow that ridge marker down and back, so you can see we're just keeping space. Looks pretty good. Not the straightest row that's ever been planted, but it'll work. Now we're climbing back up the hill again. Seems to be pulling it all right. We do not have any weight on the front of this tractor, which we probably could do with for this task, but it is a good thing that we do have the weight on those drive tires, because that's helping give us a little extra traction here on our way up the field every single pass, regardless whether we're flat or we're going in an incline or a decline. This isn't a very big field, so we're going to have this wrapped up pretty darn quickly. Really nice map here. You can see the rolling hills in the background. They look really good. There's a ton of farms out here. We may have a guy who can come and bring some equipment to help us with our silage this year, just in terms of us not having everything we require for, in terms of the forage harvester, the silage blower, and the forage wagons, because at the moment we are $75,000 in debt, which, you know, may not seem like a lot to some, but that's a fair bit of debt for a farmer that doesn't really have any income yet. So we're gonna see what we can do and what the prices are gonna be like for the soybeans and the corn after our yield. Let's see whether or not we're gonna be able to afford to go ahead and purchase that equipment here this year. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe if we want the cows, we may have to refrain from purchasing that forage harvester equipment right off the bat here. So we may get a custom crew to come in and do this job for us here this year yet, but we shall see. We're going to talk to some people and get some prices on what it would be for getting a custom crew like that to come in and do the forage harvesting for us. So I will know soon enough what that's going to cost us. Okay, so we just got finished that contract for our neighbor here, and as I was coming down the hill, I noticed our wheat has sprung. So you can see that here. We get a little bit of growth going on the wheat, which is great. So that's looking awesome. Anyway, we're about to head home here, grab ourselves some lunch, and then we're going to head down to the grass field and rake up our grass. Here we are, just pulling in the driveway now. Gonna put the corn planter back into the shed, or our corn and bean planter back into the shed for another day. Next time we pull this out, we'll be using it in our own fields, I believe. Unless there's any more contract work that needs to be done. Any more neighbors looking for work? Guess we'll just leave that there for now. Alright, I'm gonna go inside and grab some lunch, and then I'll be back out here in a few. Okay, we just had a nice little lunch break and a nap, and it's about 5 minutes after 2. So we are going to get into the Ford 3000, hook onto this new to us wheel rake, and give it a little shot. Let's see what this puppy can do. Oof. This rake's looking a little bit big for this tractor, but I'm sure it'll pull it just fine. It's not much steel here, even though this tractor's got only about 50 horsepower, 45 or 50 horsepower. So I'm gonna have to make a few calls here in the next couple days before we kind of decide what's going on. I do want to make this ideally into silage, so hopefully we can get in contact with a guy who will come and do a little custom work for us, and we can get this blown into our harvester silo. Or if that doesn't work out and he can't come in a timely manner, I may just have to go ahead and we'll get our baler and we'll rent a bale wrapper, and we'll have to use that bale wrapper to wrap these up and let them ferment for silage. Ideally I would like it in the harvester silo, but if that's not something we can do, then it's not something we can do, right? So I like this open station tractor. Nice to be working on one of these. She definitely pulls pretty good for an old girl. Let's maybe slow this down a little bit. The rake seems to be skipping off the ground an awful lot here. Field's just too rough, I guess. So after this cutting of grass, we are going to be chiseling this ground, and then we're going to fertilize it, cultivate it, and put either grass again or alfalfa down onto this. Oh, we also need to lime this too. Sorry, so that'll be a step in there as well. So there's quite a bit of prep that needs to get done into this ground. And then between that and planting our corn and soybeans, we're going to be pretty busy for a little while. Geez, why is that rake missing so much? Yeah, we'll be busy for a little while getting this all picked up, so I think I'm just going to dial back my speed a little bit here. Yeah, so we're going to be pretty busy getting all that stuff into the ground, getting everything planted, and then hopefully by midsummer we'll have a second cutting of grass, which will end up being either grass or alfalfa, whatever we end up planting. And that'll probably end up going for hay, so we'll see. And then if we're short, sorry, I'm trying to think here. If we end up being short on hay, or we're short on silage, I guess, we can just maybe do some corn silage. We'll get the guy in here and cut some corn silage in for our ration. The Ford 3000 is pulling this rake right along. We seem to be missing a little bit less now that we're into the straight rows. It seems like the turning with the rake was kind of throwing the gosh, what do you even call those? The wheels. Yeah, the rake wheels off the ground a little bit, so I think we've kind of got that sorted now. We're just in our up and down passes. But I'm going to have to give some people a call here between now and the next episode in the next couple of days and see what we're going to do about getting this grass picked up. Because we're going to want it picked up tomorrow, whether we bale it or we get somebody in. So here we are, coming up the last pass of the field here. The rake's just missing a few spots here and there now, but it's been doing pretty well. And the Ford 3000's pulled it like an absolute dream. So we're going to get this field wrapped up, and then we're going to call it for today's episode. Next episode, we will be right into harvesting this grass. Just depends on which way yet. We haven't really decided. We haven't figured out that much, so we'll see. We'll see who I can talk to, and we'll see what happens here in the next 24 hours, and then we'll have to get back to you guys. Well, I think that'll just about do it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.